I've never had a chance to tell the story from beginning up to the present. There's been people that's heard bits and pieces of it, but nobody's ever heard the story from the beginning. Throughout the month of October, I'll be releasing it chapter by chapter, all the way up through the end of the month. So, here we go. Where it all began was a little farmhouse on a chicken farm where my dad was the manager. His friend was the owner of the farm. So we got to live in this house for free, basically. There was an evil presence that I could feel, but I couldn't really understand it. So I really didn't tell anybody. I knew it was there. And in my young days, I was maybe 4 years old at my earliest memory. I really couldn't explain what I was feeling because I really didn't know what I was feeling. I could just tell it wasn't right. We were fanatics for horror movies, and even as scared as I was as a child, I still enjoyed them. So we watched a lot of horror movies, and that was the 80s, so they were the good ones. But they felt different to me because of what I knew was in that house. And we'd be watching a movie, and our washing machine wouldn't go from cycle to cycle on its own. So at certain points, when my mom knew the washer was off, she would ask one of us if we could go turn the washer. And where the washer was, you had to leave the living room and go into this long hallway that was kind of like a sunroom, but it was more like a hallway. It was the length of the living room, and the washing machine and dryer were all the way at the end of it. And all down the wall, there were windows, and you could just see out into the darkness, and you felt kind of exposed when walking down that hallway. But when you were in there to go turn the cycle on the washing machine, you could tell that something was in there watching you. And it wasn't just watching for fun. It had evil behind it. So when Mom would ask to go turn the washer, I would hit that room running, go turn the washer and run back out, come back in there and get back to our horror movies. One night, I was asleep in my parents' room, which was kind of odd in itself because as we were growing up, it was just kind of a known thing that we didn't go into our parents' room. It's not that we weren't really not allowed, we just weren't supposed to go in there. But for some reason, one night I was asleep in there, and I woke up on the floor, and my nose and my lips were busted, and I was bleeding everywhere. And the thing was, I went to sleep in the bed, and I don't roll out of beds. I never did before then. I never have since then. So it was, I knew at that time that something had pushed me out of the bed, which was, even to this day, it's kind of odd that something would do that. I didn't really understand it. But my mom said that I would be playing in my room and I'd be talking to somebody, and you could tell that I wasn't talking to my toys. I was talking to somebody. But even in her telling me that, I don't remember having like imaginary friends or anybody that was there that wasn't really there. But apparently there was something there that I was talking to, or maybe I was just a weirdo, I don't know. But I know that I had a rage inside me for some reason in that house. I had a toy, an Ultimate Warrior toy from the WWF. And I've always called it a bop bag. It's one of those bags where you put, it's got sand in the bottom, you inflate it, and you punch it and it stands back up. That's what it's designed to do. Well, I was punching this thing and wrestling it, and it kept standing back up. And for some reason inside me, I felt a rage build up because the thing wouldn't lay down. It wouldn't submit to my beatings. So I grabbed it and hurled it across the room. And the way it's built, it's got sand in the bottom. It flew kind of like a missile, and it hit our window in the bedroom and busted the window. And I don't think Mom even knows that. Mom, if you're watching, it was me. Sorry. But anyway, I felt this presence all the time. I hated to be in the house alone. I just felt really uncomfortable. So like, I played outside a lot. And there was one time I was in the house and this idea popped into my brain, and I went outside. I grabbed a rope from the garage, and we had this tree that I guess a while back somebody had put a tractor tire down and planted a tree in the middle, or put a tractor tire over a tree that was already growing. However it happened, there was a big tree with a tractor tire at the base of it, around the whole circumference. So I stood on the tractor tire. I threw the rope over the lowest hanging branch, tied a knot in it, tied a loop in the other end, put it around my neck, and jumped off the tire. I hung myself. My brother, while I was struggling and not really knowing what was going on, my brother came out of the house and saw me hanging from the tree in the front yard. And he came running and picked me up and got the rope off my neck. But my mom asked me why I did it. And I told her that there were Westerns that my dad liked to watch, and obviously in Westerns people get hung. And I told her that I wanted to swing by my neck like Billy Ray Dalton. And I never really understood what, I don't know if it was demonic influence that just got in my head and tried to tell me that it would be fun. I didn't know. It was just insane to think that I just went out and did this thing thinking it would be fun. So moving forward, I didn't try to hang myself anymore. I knew it was wrong. And any crazy ideas like that, I consciously realized that something wasn't right about it. But this is where the story takes a little bit of a crazy turn. I don't tell this story to many people because even saying it or thinking it, I myself feel crazy. So at nighttime, I would be in my bed, in my room. I would be asleep, and then all of a sudden I would wake up. And I don't remember if it was a flash of light or a noise that happened. Something would wake me up, and I would get out of my bed, and I had these, they're like 9-inch tall rubber wrestlers. I had Hulk Hogan, Junkyard Dog, Big John Studd, and Jake the Snake. I had a bunch of them. They were my favorite toys. I would get on the floor, and this is where it gets crazy. These creatures that looked like a mix between the Gremlins, we've all seen the Gremlins, and the little minion things from a movie called The Gate. I'm not sure if you've ever seen The Gate, but these little things, and they're kind of crazy looking. They would come out from under my bed, and they would play with me and my toys. They never did anything negative. They never hurt me. They never tried to hurt me. It was very odd because they would come out and play with me in the middle of the night. And then at some point I would just get back in the bed, and these things would go back under my bed and disappear. I never saw them disappear. I never saw where they went. All I knew is they went under my bed. I looked for them in the daytime. I looked for any kind of oddity that would signify where they were coming from. I never found anything. But please, if you have seen these things, if you've played with them in the middle of the night, please let me know, because I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world that's ever played with these things. Please let me know if you have. So as far as the negative spirits, demonic, whatever they were, I thought when we moved that weight would be lifted, and I would be out from under that, and I would have a sense of freedom and a sense of ease that would come into me. But that wasn't the case.